Hey kid,
What?
I'm a computer. Who wants a body massage?
It's here, the heroes of public service announcements. Get ready for body massage machines and computers with our G.I. Joe PSA merchandise, each sold separately from Super 7.
G.I. Joe!
Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and happy April Fool's Day. And Merry April Fool's Day. Joyous April Fool's Day. The day where it is an absolute minefield out there when you're going through all the toy news. Well, okay, it's not just toy news, but you may have noticed that this channel is kind of focused on that. Although I have to say, I haven't ran into anything too crazy. Nothing that I've looked at and thought, oh, is that actually? Wait. Huh? Oh. I did ask about the Super 7 G.I. Joe PSA collection that I used for the intro, and that is real. Because even then, a split second, I thought, that's gotta be April Fool's, right? Nope, it's real. Link is in the description. Maybe next year we'll get pork chop sandwiches. Let's swing back around to our friends the Plunderlings and see how their Plunderlong and Plunderstrong Kickstarter's doing. Oh shit, I guess it's doing pretty good. Honestly though, not surprising at all. From top to bottom, this concept is just a bundle of fun. But not only are they funded, they're burning through the stretch goals. It's been, how long, 2 weeks? Yeah. At 110, there was Drenched Gills, followed closely by the Boom Crate at $120,000. And just look at the genius of this add-on. Captain Blackjack was unlocked at $90,000, somewhere in there, and he comes with a cannon. Well, with the Boom Crate, you can spruce that up with a blast effect and some ammo shooting out of it. Not only that, but look what you can do with alternate Plunderlong heads. Well, I say Plunderlong, I guess you could do it with any of the alternate heads from Plunderstrongs, Plunderlings, whatever. This is absolutely brilliant, not only from a marketing standpoint, but creatively. It's just, I guess you can do so much with these. Let me make sure the numbers are okay before I go spout my mouth, because I haven't checked it since yesterday. As I'm recording this, the most recently unlocked at 140k is Nomad Swash, and I think this may be my favorite Plunderlong. The colors, the design, just everything. At 150k, there is the add-on Muscle Crate, and that gives Plunderstrongs the ability to hold more of the accessories. Then there's Nomad Poncho and Feral 8-Ball at 160 and 185 respectively. Every stretch goal just ups the ante. It's so cool to watch. But my favorite Plunderstrong, the Drenched Typhoon, is at 200k, and just, oh, look at this guy. It may not be as mobile from the waist down as the other Plunderstrongs, but it cuts a mean, intimidating silhouette. After that is the add-on Leather Crate that includes more accessories, including this mask that just, you know, adds a splash of color and mystery. That's it as far as revealed stretch goals go, but the big graphic does give us hints for the Iron Crate and then the Cursed Plunderlong and Plunderstrong. Ooh, those are gonna be nifty. If you're interested, the links are in the description. I touched on Savage Crucible last week after I fell for their clever marketing ploy, and I don't mean that in a bad way, or, oh, you got me. They got me. I was wondering for days if I had accidentally joined a cult. Thankfully, it was only more 1/12 scale action figures to fawn over, which maybe I did join a cult a long time ago. Yes, I will buy more plastic. They're continuing to slow roll out the information like an articulation breakdown for their human type character. The initial pictures we saw, it was kind of hard to see the articulation, which is not a bad thing. I think that's what most companies strive for, but exploding it out, ooh, I'm interested to see how those elbows and knees work. They kind of went non-traditional with that. Usually it's a pin in between. Here, it's a whole elbow piece, and then it plugs into the upper and lower arms. Kind of like the Bandai Star Wars model kits. Then there's the same look at their dwarf sculpt, which it does go to hinge and swivels at the knees and elbows, but that was expected. It's a smaller figure. You're working with less real estate. But even then, there is a lot of articulation packed in there. Then they went even further and gave us a look at different helmets. And, oh man, is some army building gonna go on here? Plus, you know I popped for that Razorback. I am not a sports guy. If you know me at all, you know I follow no sports. I have no interest. I have little knowledge. But growing up where I grew up, with Woo Pig happening more often than you would think, Yeah, I like a little hometown flavor. I'm liking what I'm seeing, and I'm liking it more the more they show, so I'm hoping they show more very, very soon. Very lean on the McFarlane front this week, but they did officially announce their DC Multiverse Death of the Family Joker 2 months after Walmart.com posted a pre-order page with pretty promotional pictures. And about a month after they sent out review samples. But we hadn't seen this shot, the weird mix of action figure and comic book art. No, it does not come with that Batman cape and cowl. That's just there for dramatic effect. On one hand, it's kind of neat, and most level-headed people will look at it for what it is, just some artistic license. On the other hand, it could probably be seen as misleading to some people. I mean, I want to believe that most people are going to look at this and go, that's just some comic book art stuck on the front of the action figure. Doesn't matter. And then other people will just be trash! But I can almost hear the conversation that happened at the McFarlane offices. Can we Photoshop the Batman costume in? Why? It'd be cool. Legal department says that may be false advertising. Don't care. It's sexy. Do it. And here we are. Now, that Walmart page never went up for pre-order. I'm thinking that should happen very, very soon. Something I missed recently was the NECA Universal Monsters Frankenstein accessory set. It's really just a table to strap your monster down, but the included blanket and the torch and then the alternate bandaged head are spiffy additions. If you're interested in this but don't actually want to display your monster this way, maybe put it in front of it, or you don't want to buy a second one to put on the table, you could probably Ferris Bueller it. Just put the bandaged head at the top, lay the blanket over the straps, maybe some paper for stuffing to fill out the lean spots. Hell, then you don't even have to buy the monster if you want to just display this in the back of a Dio or something. Either way, $40 scheduled for August. But what reminded me of that was NECA finally soliciting their King Features Defenders of the Earth Series 2. I think it was Toy Fair 2020. Well, it had to be. That was the last Toy Fair, wasn't it? But that's where I remember seeing Mandrake the Magician and Lothar. And something's been happening since then to kind of push back plans. We've also gotten turnarounds of those two figures since then, giving us a overall look at the whole thing, so there's not a lot of surprises when it comes to those two. But had they shown much of Garax? Or, well, actually, now that I think about it, maybe they have. Maybe I have seen this before, but it didn't lock in. But you know what new promotional images always does? It's like, oh, look at that! I'm not familiar with Defenders of the Earth specifically, but I knew some of the other characters. When it comes to Garax, no clue. No idea. But it is very eye-catching next to the rest of the crew, who are all, well, I mean, it's not all normal clothes. Well, there's a dude in tux, there's some tactical gear, there's some spandex, but Garax is going to stand out with all his prism look and the whites and the light blues and the dark blues. Son of a bitch, it's in Foosh colors, isn't it? I just talked myself into pre-ordering this. I've gotten a better handle on spending lately, dropping some things, skipping some things, but there are some things you just have to get. And now I kind of don't want to know anything about the character because I've already got stuff up here. Ooh. About $37 a piece, all the online stores say September, somewhere in there. Something else we've seen here and there is the Kaiyodo Amazing Yamaguchi My Hero Academia Endeavor. But up until now, it's always been the grayscale prototypes, which is not a bad thing. It builds up anticipation, it gives you a starting point, and where's it going to go from there? Plus, I just like seeing the base sculpt without all the pretty paints on it. But now there's a magazine scan floating around giving us a look at all the colors used and how they work with each other and what we may have in our hands when this is finally released. It is visually crazy. There's so much going on here. The prototypes did look busy with all the fire effects plugged in and sticking out and stuff, but now that we have the oranges and the yellows and the reds against the blues and the skin tones, it's hard to look at and see exactly what is happening. Does look like there's going to be several eye and mouth options, and I'm sure you'll be able to swap in and out the flames in different places. And like we always say about Amazing Yamaguchi, there's going to be a frustration level. But when you get that pose that you were looking for, that you're able to do, it's worth it most of the time. There's also those times where you're like, to hell with this. But I haven't had a lot of that feeling with the My Hero Academia figures. There's a balance going on somehow. I don't know if they're any different from the others, but these seem more well-rounded. With Hawks having all his crazy feather wing stuff going on right behind Endeavor with all the flame stuff, oh, it's going to be a crazy display when it's all said and done. No hard info as I'm recording this unless I missed something on the scan. I'm hoping we see something in the near future. Looks like Super 7 is teasing Wave 3 of their Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Go-Go Ultimates. Yes, I had to add another syllable to it. Now it's called Ultimates. I know next to nothing about Power Rangers, but because of past figures from other companies, that's Lord Zed. With green and yellow in Wave 1 and then red and pink in Wave 2, is it a safe assumption to say that black and blue is going to be in Wave 3? Or maybe the White Ranger worked in there somehow. And that's as far as my Power Rangers knowledge goes. I was going to say, and that completes the team, but I can't definitively say that. And I'm not gonna, because then that would just bring on comments of, technically, stop it! Beyond that, your guess is gonna be way better than mine for the rest of Wave 3. Tease this week, we'll probably see the full wave next week. That's not all from Power Rangers though. Hasbro also solicited their Power Rangers Lightning Collection Ecliptor. I don't know the property, but I do like the designs, especially when it comes to the villains. And that's me assuming that Ecliptor is a villain. Actually... Where am I going with that? I was eyeballing the previous Ecliptor simply because it looked cool with the black and the green Tron color scheme. This seems to be a lot of reuse from that, but I think it is a new head, new shoulder pads, new left arm, new sword. I may be wrong about that because looking at that black and green one, it's... my brain, it's hard to distinguish what is sculpted corners and what's actually painted on. Yes, I will buy more toys. The new one in red makes it a little more generic. As an outsider looking in, you know? The green and black, interesting. The red, okay, I see a lot of red characters. But going by comments, this look was seen way less than the other. Am I wrong about that? Actually, he appeared there. Stop it. So this is for the completists, or those who prefer the red, or the gotta catch 'em alls. Bottom line, different fans want different things. More plastic for more people. $25 scheduled for August. As I mentioned in the last weekly, I get all of my Hasbro Fortnite Victory Royale series news. I cannot say Royale. Hasbro, help me out. Fortnite Victory, good. Fortnite Big O Winnings. Fortnite Shoot 'em Up series, yeah. But I get all of my news for that there figure line from Preternia on Twitter, and this week's no different. Somehow John came up with pretty promotional pictures of the upcoming Chaos Double Agent, looking all dapper in his white suit. Tad tacky with the gold, but what do I know? I'm up here wearing these shorts. Blah, blah, blah. Still, it's good to see new figures, especially with how quiet it's been. Reminds me of the Jazzwares days, where we wouldn't know anything about a figure until it actually dropped on a website, at a store, something. And I was always told that that was actually on Epic Games themselves. It's hard to think that they would ask the same of Hasbro, who loves their live streams and their press releases. But again, we haven't heard much about this line since last fall sometime. At least not from the horse's mouth. And yes, it's mostly reuse of the Wave 1 Chaos Agent, but that's Fortnite, baby. Game skins and toy line philosophy go hand in hand. And that's not a new thing. I mean, Player 2 colors go... shit, how far did that go back? Me, I'm looking at this and thinking, oh, modern day spy versus spy? I'm in. In fact, does the harvesting tool remind you of anything? No release info yet, but we're collectors. We're all about that bated breath and next plastic fix. Gonna keep an eye on this. Oh, and look, a Hasbro Star Wars Black Series update. Nothing we didn't already know about, just a few new pictures and a ship date for the Walmart exclusive Clone Wars assortment that we pre-ordered way back last July. And when they put those pre-orders up last July, they didn't even have pictures of the product, just stills from the show. Not the greatest way to debut new product, but that didn't stop it from selling out. Then in November, we got cardage shots. Several months after pre-orders actually went up. The saga continued this week with the pre-orders opening up again, this time with the full array of pictures. Then, promptly sold out again. Well, I saw the ARC Trooper back up again a couple hours ago, so maybe that'll be a continuing thing. Maybe it'll be easier to get. Better Pictures does give us a closer look at the figures themselves. General Grievous, same figure we got before, but this time in white and blue. Oh, you bastards. You did it too. The first couple of shots had me thinking that maybe they changed the cape up, where it's laying more natural and unobtrusive. Then I got to this shot, and it's just poof. So we'll see how it actually ends up. Reuse is the name of the game with the ARC Trooper too. Using the ARC Trooper body we've seen a couple of times, but they did change up the helmet and I think the backpack. And then of course the color scheme. I see a lot of comments about how this is not accurate, but it's been so long since I've seen those shorts. I couldn't tell you. It looks like an ARC Trooper with red lines. I'm just chalking it up to Hasbro taking an animated design, putting it through the realistic filter. That way all the figures are aesthetically consistent throughout the display, no matter where they come from, which media. Well, that and they can reuse bodies. Don't tell anybody. Finally, the figure with new parts is Mace Windu. I guess I never picked up on the fact that he just threw some shoulder armor over his full Jedi wardrobe, heavy robes and all. That's gotta be cumbersome. Kind of like eating fast food out of the bag while you're driving, while wearing a heavy turtleneck sweater and a winter parka on top of that. You've been there. You know what I'm talking about. You just want to... I mean, don't eat and drive, kids. Both hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. The upper torso armor piece, the shoulder pads, and the forearms all appear new. I thought at first they just took a trooper arm and attached it at Mace's elbow, but in this shot you can see some robe bunched up at the top of the bracer. That makes me think, custom fodder for other Clone Wars Jedi. Maybe Saesee Tiin, maybe Plo Koon when he was wearing the armor bits, but then I remember this is Walmart and I'll be lucky to get the one I ordered. The listings did give a ship date of April 3rd, and the General Grievous I ordered last July has already shipped, so high hopes that there's a lot of toys going out this weekend. Again, maybe they'll put them back up on the website or ship them to stores in a nice quantity, because not everyone can jump on 9 a.m. on a Thursday and order their toys in a window of about 20 minutes. Whatever happens, they're probably not going to address it in the Fan First Wednesday they announced for next week, but we'll have more Star Wars to talk about, hopefully. Finally, I was on my way in here whenever Hasbro posted this picture of their Marvel Legends Disney Plus Moon Knight. So delicious. Look at it. I mean, looking at this, there's details on here I didn't even know was on the costume. Admittedly, we are only one episode in, and I'm not one to fine-tooth comb posters and trailers and teasers and such. It's not until I get the toy that I go, oh, look at the wraps and the nice contrast between the grays and the crescent moons down at the knee. That looks all... There's a lot going on here, but it's very together. You know what I mean? Since this is a render, I'm expecting some differences once we get it in our midst, like the sharpness of the colors and maybe the toning down of the golds a little bit. But man, if nothing else, get those glowy eyes onto the final product. Just look at it. It's mesmerizing. I will buy more plastic. I'm also hoping the hood is a separate piece from the cape. You know, for reasons. What's going on with the torso? Is that a low hinge and a high dumbbell ball of some kind? Did they do that so they wouldn't have to compromise the armor coming down over the abs? It still bends low and then wobbles on the top. I need this now. Now. It's a good design. It looks like a good figure. I can't wait to see what's actually going on with it. The article on Marvel.com had no information whatsoever, but best guess this is going to be in the next Disney Plus wave. If not, it's gonna be somewhere else. That's all I got. And that's it for this week. Well, you know the drill. If I miss something, we'll swing back around next week. If you're interested in seeing any of these pictures up close without me all, must buy more plastic. Oh, there's some chanting in there too. I'll be posting all of that, plus links to more information, pre-orders on the Foosh front page Saturday at noon. And when we got to Thursday, I did not have a lot to talk about. I was thinking this was going to be the shortest weekly ever, but things seem to pile up, as they do, you know? Don't get me wrong, the stuff I had, awesome. I'm just used to a certain amount, and when I listed the things out, it's like, ooh, short list. But that's okay. Breathing room is not a bad thing. Decompress a bit, appreciate what we have instead of what we don't have. Look around. Grab the closest figure you have, or your favorite figure. Bring it down off the shelf, out of the display, or the whole package, you know? Stare at it, look at it, memorize it. Remind yourself why you got into this crazy hobby. Bundle that warm glow in here that you can carry with you the rest of the day, or to pull out of the brain file whenever you're facing some trials and tribulations. Make the best of this time, because you know for every slow news week, there's just some balls to the wall right around the corner. Find the balance between what is in front of you right now and what's going to be in front of you later. But if you enjoyed this Foosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. Wherever you may be watching this, I will always catch you on the Foosh. April 1st was also my granny's birthday, and there's a lot of memories there that still hold on to. But you know what? The thing I always go back to whenever I was at her house or we spent the night there, besides her waking up at 3:30, 4 a.m. to drink coffee, was she had a box of blocks and those little animals that you could buy. Well, you could buy them later in the tubes. I think back then they were just in bags. Farm animals, dinosaurs. Me and my brother would build like farms just to have cages for this. But that's not my only memory. That's just my starting point with the memories. I can think of that, and then it expands out from there. That brings me to, you know, her cooking pancakes in the morning and having the white syrup in the fridge that wouldn't pour out very easy, or her keeping Pepsis out in the entryway that wasn't air conditioned, so they were hot. You'd pour it over ice and it would just completely melt. Just like that. All the good times. The toys were just the key I use in my memory to unlock the rest of it.